we get started with tonight's contest, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org and pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As long as WRPI is broadcasting, we provide that broadcast on our internet stream. Once again, that is WRPI.org. You can also watch any RPI home men's hockey game streaming live over the internet. Just check out rpitv.org or surf on over YouTube and search RPI TV.
Back to hockey here at the Houston Fieldhouse, Tom, and RPI looking for obviously a better second half, but still plenty of ECAC hockey play left after this non-conference two-game series with Maine.
Well, January and February is certainly when the league is won and lost. RPI finds himself sitting in a tie for 10th place with Dartmouth heading into the new year. And these last two non-conference games of the season, today and tomorrow, will be the springboard that RPI needs to really get themselves into a good spot and maybe vie for a home playoff spot.
We are ready for hockey, and the puck is dropped. Maine will win the opening draw. Back to the captain, Mark Hamilton, senior from Winthrop, Massachusetts. Worked up the far side boards and gathered in by Brady Whiffen, who lobs it ahead. Pops out of play, and we get an early stoppage here, just 12 seconds in.
Forward lines for the Engineers. Emil Orval is with Jacob Hayhurst and Todd Burgess on the top line. Brady Whiffen centers a line with Victor Liljegren and Evan Tierney. You heard Coach Smith talking about that one earlier. Jesper Orval is with Billy Jerry and Patrick Polino, and Jaron Burke is on a line with Jake Morello and Max Reisinger for the fourth line.
Neutralized drop coming. We have a new puck, and it looks to be the right shape and size, as we'll drop it again. Victor Liljegren got tangled up a bit, went down, picked up by Patrick Holloway, who shoots it into the RPI goal behind Lyndon Marshall. Papavesis up the far side boards, chopped at by Tierney, couldn't get it out of the zone, kept in deep by the Black Bears. A quick try out in front. It was Fossier, ever dangerous with a shot, and a pad save was made by Marshall. Chipped in deep by Liljegren, picked up there by Hamilton. This is a Maine team that's been scoring a lot of goals recently. RPI will look to try and change that. It was just a 3-2 game plus an empty netter the last time these two teams met in Belfast. Here's Jacob Hayhurst, RPI's top point getter, ran into his own man, packing up to his own zone. Charlie Manley hands it off for Hayhurst. Jacob Hayhurst up the far side boards, gave it away. Maine trying to break quickly the other direction. Into the zone is Shea, 2-on-1 down low, they score! A drop pass for Nolan Veazey, and the senior from North Reading, Mass. Makes it 1-0.
RPI finding themselves behind the 8 ball early in this one, just a minute and 2 seconds in. And Veazey nets his 6th goal of the season. Going up top to put one in for the Black Bears. It gives them the 1-0 lead, and that's really where RPI did not want to be. Coach Smith talked about coming out with energy, and so far the first couple of shifts we haven't seen the energy that RPI needs to be competitive in this one.
1:02 in, and it's 1-0 in favor of Maine. Unbeaten in their last 5, 4-0-1. Behind the goal, corralled by the Black Bears. Binner tie up in the far corner. Jerry digs away. Good first half for Billy Jerry, 6 points in 17 games. Now a centering pass, skips all the way through to the point past Samick. It was a pass that was in the air in the end, and Samick goes back to his own end to pick it up. TJ Samick, sophomore from St. Paul, playing in his 7th game of the year. Cleared to center, brought back in by Brady Keeper, who will actually just dump in as Maine wants to get a change here. Fed up the boards, Patrick Polino works it ahead. Now carried in, shot and a blocker save by Jerry, and now turned back the other direction. Black Bears into the zone, shot goes wide from Pieper. That's Cannon Pieper. Puck goes all the way out of the zone. Turianemi plays it ahead. Here's Westerlund for Maine. Emil Westerlund from Sweden. Number of Swedes in this one. Both Orvals playing for the Engineers along with Victor Liljegren. Puck goes behind the Maine goal. Battle for the puck. Jake Morello trying to jump on in his first touch in quite some time since the St. Lawrence game. Making just his 10th appearance of the year after coming back from injury. That shot from the point from Pravavesis deflects wide. And now Reisinger. Shot hit his own man. Morello into the corner. And now it'll be worked out to center ice by the Black Bears. There's a takedown right in the neutral zone as Piper went down, or Pieper rather. And no call there. Carried on further by Hallway. Detroit Red Wings draft choice plays it ahead onto the tape of Fossier. On further, Black Bears into the zone. Marshall makes a save. Rebound pops to the corner on the try by Pearson. Another Detroit Red Wings draft choice is Chase Pearson, 6'2", 200 pounds. It's kept in by Hallway. Poked at by the Engineers. Shot from the point. Trickles wide. It was redirected in front by Trailmox. Back to the point again. A shot. Marshall this time holds on. He was deflecting pucks into not dangerous areas early on, Marshall, but that time he was able to hold on the shot from Hallway, which he saw all the way.
Scoring on Maine's first goal of the afternoon, an even strength goal at 1:02 of the first period. Nolan Vesey, his 6th goal of the season with the lone assist credited to Patrick Shea. That is the 5th assist of the season for the sophomore out of Marshfield, Massachusetts.
Shots are 5-2 Maine early, 3.5 into the first period. And have an icing call on the Engineers right off the draw.
Defensive pairings for RPI this afternoon. Jared Wilson is with fellow senior Mike Prapovesis. And then there's an all-sophomore line of Charlie Manley and Will Riley. TJ Samick is with Tommy Grant. Goaltender for RPI this afternoon is Lyndon Marshall. Freshman out of Victoria, British Columbia, came into today with an overall record of 2-6-1, goals against average of .313, and a save percentage of .905.
Rough up along the boards in front of the Maine bench. Bouncing puck, fanned at twice, and now a breakaway for Maine. They score. Vesey with his 2nd of the period. And I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Manley who couldn't quite knock that puck down in his own zone. And Vesey jumped on the opportunity. His 2nd goal in 3+ minutes.
This is kind of the area where you kind of start to wonder if things were going to get out of control quickly if you're RPI. It's getting down 2-0 this early in the game. It's certainly a position where RPI has got to inject some kind of energy into this one in order to keep themselves from getting down too far too quickly.
2-0, and that puck will hop out of play.
That line of Nolan Vesey, Tim Doherty, and Patrick Shea really firing on all 4 here early in the first period. That's Vesey's 7th goal of the season, and that triumvirate being credited with all of the scoring on that 2nd goal.
This puck is flung into the zone way over the top of the net, into the netting. Well, a face-off coming in the neutral zone, 15:59 to play in period number 1. 2-0 Maine, the Black Bears on Nolan Vesey's 6th and 7th of the season.
The other top line really that RPI needs to be wary of is the sophomore/freshman line of Mitchell Fossier, Chase Pearson, and Edwards Trailmax. It's worth noting that Mitchell Fossier has scored 5 goals in 3 games against the Engineers during his career.
And looked dangerous with an early chance here, but it's been Vesey doing the damage early on. Jaron Burke battles for the puck just across the blue line near side of the Maine zone. And now it's gathered up by the Black Bears, poked at by Wilson at center ice. Gathered up again by Hamilton. Mark Hamilton to the zone, fires on goal, glove save for Marshall. It was a tough bounce there on that 2nd goal. Marshall was left alone there with Vesey on the breakaway.
Official scoring on Maine's 2nd goal of the afternoon, an even strength goal at 3:13 of the first period. Nolan Vesey is 7th of the season, 2nd of the afternoon, with the assists going to Patrick Shea and Tim Doherty. That is the 6th assist of the season for Shea, 7th for Doherty.
Puck down low. Gathered in by Trailmax. Trailmax again, spinning away from some pressure. Hands it off for Fossier, trying to step around Riley. Fossier to the far side, half wall, hands it off. Trailmax, a shot. And that one caroms all the way out of the zone. Back to pick it up. Fossier in his own end, takes a look around. Evan Tierney's on his tail. There was a shoulder hit into him there. Riley tried to fire a shot off the wall, and almost fanned on it. Goes down low. Liljegren trying to center and threw it through everybody. Back to pick it up. Actually knocked down by Marshall and handed off for Riley. Will Riley stick handling off of Polino and in deep. Gathered in again by the Black Bears. Tirianemi fed along, broken up by Samick. Looking for the long stretch pass to Doherty. It was broken up It'll send the face-off into the neutral zone. Shots are 7-1 Maine. I thought I had 5-2 at one point, but 7-1 Black Bears, and they lead 2-0.
In net for Maine this afternoon is Rob McGovern, junior out of Weymouth, Mass. Has an overall record this season of 1-4-0, goals against average of .447 and an .875 save percentage. He is not the normal starter. The normal starter is freshman Jeremy Swayman, but he's currently with the U.S. junior team in Buffalo, where they are presently playing the Canadians at New Era Field in Orchard Park.
Exciting times out in western New York. On the eastern side of the state, Engineers trying to battle back from an early 2-0 deficit. Jesper Orval goes down along the half boards. Polino kicking at it, comes free to Doherty. And it'll be played behind. Turianemi off the glass, down the ice. Prapavesis gathers it in there. Prapavesis for Wilson, helped along into the zone. Engineers trying to go in the attack. Hallway breaks it up, hands it off for Keeper. Keeper for Hallway. Hallway up the boards, broken up there, fed across, where it's moved along by Quinlivan. He'll dump it in. Played to the near corner by Marshall and skated out by Emil Orval. Orval chips it up the boards, trying to track it down. Hamilton there, takes a hit from Burgess. Puck pops free to the circle. Quinlan can't corral it. Wilson, a shot over the top of the net, high off the glass behind the goal. McGovern watches it go to the far side. Prapavesis backhanded into the middle of the zone. Battle for the puck kept in by the Engineers. Poked at by Burgess. Hayers trying to find it. Hallway there first. He'll skate back behind his own goal. Pressure from the Engineers. And it's Hayhurst and Emil Orval who broke it up. Skated out by Hamilton. And now Quinlivan lobbing it in to the RPI zone. It's been a while since the Black Bears have played here at the Houston Fieldhouse. 30-some years. It's played around by shot deflected off the wall. It was a tight angle shot by Burke. And now here's a shot by Reisinger. That one, I think, caught the shoulder of Swayman. Or excuse me, of McGovern. That'd have been tough if he found Swayman from here. Now Robbins shoots it in, broken up by Reisinger. And now Manley. Manley fanned on the pass, does get a second try. Near side for Jaron Burke. Burke will dump it in. Better from the Engineers here. Over the last couple of minutes, 12 to go in the first period. 2-0 Maine. Dumped in here by Binner. Played behind by Samick. Up the boards, here's Liljegren. Liljegren walks it down the near side boards. Flipped it ahead to Tyrannies. That was broken up, and Liljegren had to touch up. The Engineers do shoot it in. To center ice, gathered in by Tommy Grant, who fires it right back in, wide of goal, but helped along by McGovern anyway, junior from Weymouth, Mass. Back to pick it up is Pearson, sophomore centerman from Alpharetta, Georgia. Trailmax, far side, good connection there. Into the zone, Trianemi, and now here's Whiffen just lobbing it on. All the way to Hallway, takes a hit from Tyrannies. Gathered in again by Trailmax. Trailmax all by himself in the zone, takes a shot right on from not a great angle along the wall, and there's an easy stop and hold for Marshall.
Certainly some better play from RPI here in the last few minutes of this one. And sometimes when you get down early, you start to feel like it's going to start piling up, but ultimately RPI still only down 2 in this one. That's certainly a deficit from which they can come back, and if they start moving things back in the right direction as they have been in the last couple of minutes, it's a good sign for the Engineers.
RPI lobbing it ahead, bouncing puck. Hamilton finds it at his own blue line. Shea across, flipped in by Veazey. He has both goals tonight. Up the wall, Hallway picks it up there on the pinch. Turning in the circle, Veazey trying to keep it in, throws it towards goal, deflects off the hand of Prapavesis into the corner. And now Polino back behind for Prapavesis. He'll start the breakout for RPI. Prapavesis across his own zone for his classmate and defensive partner Jared Wilson. Prapavesis now crosses the red line and shoots it in. McGovern slows down a puck that had some steam on it. Gathered in by the Black Bears. Fanning on the pass there was Smith. But they do get it in deep anyway. Marshall stops it there to the corner for Riley. Riley ahead for Hayhurst, stick handling. On further, here's Todd Burgess. Trying to find Orval. It's broken up by Muehlbauer. And gathered in again by the Black Bears in their own zone. Keith Muehlbauer, junior from Apple Valley, Minnesota, gave it away. Orval drop pass, one-timer, Hayhurst. And that one missed the net. Right between the circles. Black Bears nearly got caught there. Now a chance for a 3-on-3 the other way. Quinlivan into the zone, trying to center, broken up. Manley to the wall. Near side, poked at, and lobbed out by Emil Orval. Race for the puck. Coming across from the far side is Binner. Binner hands it off there for Muehlbauer. Back to Binner. A little bit of speed through the neutral zone for the defenseman. Binner in. Poke check by Grant. Behind, here's Samek picking it up. Big hit by Grant. And the pass was behind the intended target, Burke, who gets it back here and stick handles free. Jaron Burke into the corner, trying to work it up the wall. It's broken up there. Spinning behind the goal is Pieper. Shot, no. Fandon on the try by Westerland. And it'll go all the way back down the ice, and Maine will regather. Quick outlet pass here, tapped along by Robbins. Into the zone they come. Collision behind the goal in the far corner. Puck comes free. Pieper. Duels there with Morello. Grant to a knee, trying to get it out. And it'll be picked up eventually by TJ Samek, who moves to center. Looking for his first collegiate goal. Fires it in from center ice. It'll be held on to there by McGovern.
Well, it's not much of a surprise that it's frigid in the American Northeast. Game time temperature here in Troy is 14 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 10 below for our friends north of the border. But it's certainly warmer here in Troy than it is in Orono, Maine, where the present temperature is 3 degrees above Fahrenheit, which is 16 below centigrade. Still cold, no matter how you say it, ever. So
it's good pond hockey weather out here, though, Tom. So I'm excited about that.
It's better where it is in Buffalo, where it's actually snowing. So
yeah, well, it's still good pond hockey weather till it gets covered.
Yeah.
Puck to the near side corner of the main zone. Hamilton shoots it far side for Hallway. Takes a look around, gave it right away to Whiffen, who just chops it into the corner. Maybe had more time than that. Liljegren out of the corner, trying to center. A couple of cracks at it. Wilson throws it towards goal, and a save is made through traffic by McGovern. Engineers tallying up some shots here in the recent going. Now a shot by Wilson hit his own man, Liljegren. Man breaking is Trail Max. It'll be flipped up the boards by Fossier instead. And now Wilson once more. On for Tyrannies. Tyrannies twisting and turning in the neutral zone, trying to find the puck. Trail Max takes it away, but finds the skate of Whiffen, and the Engineers regather behind their own goal. It's Mike Prapavesis, senior out of Oakville, Ontario, and a draft choice of the Dallas Stars. Prapavesis, stick handling, crosses the red line, he'll shoot it in. On goal, McGovern gives a big old rebound on that puck, but apparently he knew his own man was there in the middle of the slot to help it out of danger. Stolen away by the Engineers here. It's Jesper Orval into the zone, trying to take a shot. It was broken up, poked to the corner by the goalie stick of McGovern. Now Jesper Orval behind the net, nice pass, walking on front, Jerry, and a swing and a miss from Polino. Looking for his first goal this season. Had a good chance at one there. Now Orval a shot, save made, rebound kicked wide. Billy Jerry again mixing things up in the front of the net. Polino takes a shot, save made, rebound, it's in the goal! RPI on the board. They kept throwing pucks to the net, and finally it snuck home. Billy Jerry, I think, is claiming this one. If it is, it's his fifth, and RPI pulls within 2-1.
He was certainly near the goal as it was dribbling in, and this is not even remotely close to being the prettiest goal that RPI has scored this season. But after going down 2-0 early in this one, getting that third goal of the game was very, very important for the Engineers. They managed to find a way to put it in. And it's going to be still a Maine lead, but it's now cut in half, 2-1.
A big goal there for the Engineers, who were buzzing around the net, and this new line that's been put together with Polino, Orval, and Jerry connects here. Here's an icing, maybe. No, out to play was Marshall, but they're going to say he didn't make an attempt before they were going to blow the whistle anyway. A lot of times, if a goalie makes an attempt to play an iced puck, they wave it off generally, but they're saying he only played it because it came close to him. Anyway, icing on Maine.
Right around that time of the RPI goal, I was about to say, I was thinking it was the first time that Nolan Vesey and his line was not looking dangerous, and one way to keep them from looking dangerous is for the RPI to control the puck, as they did very well in advance of the goal, which I still believe is going to be credited to Billy Jerry. We still don't have an official word yet.
Puck behind the Maine goal after they win the defensive zone face-off. They're giving the goal to Jerry with an assist to Patrick Polino. Of course, that could change. Might see an addition there. Orval as well. And there is. At least announced that way. Here's Holloway behind the goal. Takes a hit from Burgess. RPI on the forecheck once again. Emil Orval. Can't corral. Worked out of danger by Lacroix. Flipped out to center. Wilson has it there. He'll go cross ice with a dump in. Puck rolling behind McGovern, who wasn't tested early on in this period, but had some opportunities as of late. Engineers have been peppering the net the last couple of minutes, drawing closer in the shots on goal department. It's actually now 10-9 RPI in that category. Robbins digging for it. Carried on further by Pieper into the zone along the near wall. He's double teamed, trying to work it back to the point. It's broken up. Burke to center. Taken over by Pieper again. Burke takes it right back. Jaron Burke into the zone. Flips it in. He'll try and chase it down himself. There's a man right on his back. It's Westerlund. Westerlund tried to kick it free. He goes back to get it. Now he has a chance to clear. Although it's tied up and stolen away by Morello. His shot partially fanned on allows the Black Bears to move it to center, but poked free by Morello. Burke fires one over the top of the net. It was gloved down by McGovern, who hands it off there. RPI changing. It allows the Black Bears to move it out. Binner trying to drop it back. Just a little bit of a disconnect here with the Black Bears, trying to get out of their own zone right now. Tyranny battles with Fossier up the boards and now carried out. Trail Max has it knocked away by the Engineers defense. Riley bouncing puck at the blue line. Offside is Whiffen. He'll have to touch up. He doesn't, and Tyranny does touch the puck. That'll force the offside. 5:05 to go in the first. RPI's pulled within 2-1 of Maine.
The official scoring on RPI's first goal of the afternoon. Even strength goal at 12:51 of the first period, scored by RPI freshman Billy Jerry. That is the 5th goal of the season for the River Falls, Wisconsin native. Assists going to his line mates Patrick Polino, Polino's 5th of the season, and Jesper Orval with his 2nd assist of the year.
Riley with the shot from center ice that's gloved again by McGovern. Engineers have been putting these dump-ins on goal, getting offensive zone face-offs, and face-offs is something else that's been getting better over the last few games for the Engineers.
Dicey start to this one for RPI, but now that they've got their first goal of the game, and now they're starting to move the momentum back in the other direction, the outlook for the Engineers certainly much better than it was about 5 minutes into this one when they already trailed 2-0.
Face-off win for the Black Bears. Played around to the near side corner, and it'll be worked out here by Quinlivan. Now rung in from center, and this time it's Lacroix shooting on goal from between the blue lines, and Lyndon Marshall holds on to that one.
The officials for this afternoon's contest, we didn't get to that earlier. The referees are Katie Guay and Robert St. Lawrence, the linesmen Stephen Drain and Michael St. Lawrence.
Faceoffs are 9-6 Maine with 4:44 to play in period number 1. 2-1 Black Bears lead. Engineers win this defensive zone draw. Mike Krapovessis with some pressure finds Wilson, who shoots it around to the near side. Pressuring is Hamilton, keeps it in the zone for Maine there. Quinlivan and Wilson on his back. Quinlivan trying to center, and it's turning and shooting. Good block there by Krapovessis. Second try blocked as well into the corner. It was Smith, Ryan Smith, a sophomore from Roanoke, Virginia, with a couple of tries there, but neither of them found the goaltender as Mike Krapovessis did the shot blocking duties there. Shot in deep by the Engineers this time. Big hit by Orval. Puck comes free. One-time pass, and Polino just got handcuffed a bit by that one and trying to find Jerry as Jesper Orval knocked down behind the goal. Puck to the far side. Krapovessis pinches in. Broken up and a chance to break. 2-on-2. Morello just off the bench. Walking in, a centering pass, sliding play by Wilson to break it up. Drop pass there. Shot was blocked again, I believe, by Krapovessis into the netting, and we get a stoppage there. So Krapovessis pinching nearly turned into a 2-on-1. Good hustle from Jake Morello off the bench to kind of negate that play.
And once again, that's the Doherty line one center by Tim Doherty anyway, but Nolan Vesey's been the one that has connected on both of Maine's goals early in this one. He's looking to finish off the hat trick here in the first period. He had a couple of opportunities before RPI's goal, which eliminates the opportunity for a natural hat trick, but he's still dangerous every time he's out there.
Keeper kept the puck in the zone to his own namesake there. Just at the blue line. Well, fans thought he might have left the zone. Here's Keeper again, a wrist shot. That one just blocked by Grant. Took it right on the chest. Poked down. Out to center by Liljegren, and now Vesey. Nolan Vesey stick handling near side of the RPI zone. Tommy Grant picks it up. Goes D to D for Samek. Quickly ahead. Tyranese redirects it in. Shot off the boards, knocked out of the air by Whiffen. Puck comes free to the corner. Doherty's going to grab it there. He'll try to shoot it up the wall. Kicked at by Samek. And he kicks it into the bench. Samek claiming it came off of a Maine player first before it did. And then he gives Doherty a little bit extra with a stick. But not enough to warrant a trip to the penalty box. 3:07 to go in the first period. 2-1 Maine leads.
Engineers looking for their first victory over the Maine Black Bears since November 27th, 1993. That was at the Dexter Shoe Classic in Orono. And according to my research, that is the only time in Engineers history that RPI has won an in-season tournament that took place outside of the immediate capital district. Interesting little factoid.
Riley is shot blocked. Rebound, Morello, and a save made. Right back to the point, Riley. That one hit bodies and it trickles through. Jaron Burke in the near corner. Knocked down there by Piepert. It was a good look for Morello. It was a good screen and a good angle to shoot from. But McGovern made a big save. He's made a couple of those here today. Shots now 13-9 RPI. They outshot New Hampshire last time out. They've been doing a better job of that. I know Coach Smith talked about it in our pregame interview, which I believe will run again due to some technical difficulties pregame. But the numbers are improving. We talk about Corsi and shot attempts in RPI's favor. Now they just needs the goals to start doing the same. And keep getting more shots than their team, you'd think those would improve. As puck is shot in, they're going to call icing here on RPI as they say that the Engineers did not cross the red line.
And it's worth noting that Maine had a very lopsided shot tally early in this period when they went up 2-0, but the lopsidedness has certainly flopped over the other side. The Engineers have the vast majority of the shots in the last 10 minutes or so, and they now lead overall in shots on goal, 13-9.
Shot coming, tipped over the top of the net by Fossier. And it'll be Riley trying to clear it out far side. Diving play by Burgess was not necessary. The puck was leaving the zone anyway. Shot back in by the Black Bears. Gathered in by Riley. Riley down the middle. Finds Jacob Hayhurst. Haven't heard or seen much from Hayhurst so far. Trying to do that here. Loose puck in front. Fossier, good back check. Denies a chance for Emil Orval. Lobbed back into the zone by Wilson. Fed along and poked at. In deep it goes. Race for the puck. First one to it will be Pearson loses an edge and goes down. And he gets a chance to get it back though. Pass back from Fossier. Pearson behind the goal. Wilson knocks him off the puck. Fossier trying to get body position back on his man. It'll be gathered in by Hayhurst again. Stops on a dime. Little saucer pass near side for Wilson. He'll move it out to center. Tipped into the zone by Burgess. Wide of the goal. Gathered in by Studlick Lacroix. Senior from Shafford, Quebec. Hit on Quinlivan, but he gets it deep. 1 minute to go in the first period. 2-1 Maine. Will Riley, sophomore from Toronto, chips it up the boards. Gathered in by Billy Jerry, has the lone RPI tally to the main line. D-to-D pass to the near side for Keeper. Puck pops high in the air, but doesn't hit the ceiling. Out to play it was Lyndon Marshall. He couldn't corral. Now puck back behind the goal. It's Quinlivan twisting and turning. Trying to get free from Grant. Played to the near side. Keeper turns away from Orval. But Orval picks his pocket. 26 to go in the period. Orval leading a 3-on-3 rush into the zone. Orval pulls it back. Takes a shot. That's blocked. Picked up by Polino. Polino along the half wall near side. Still Polino turning. Looking for a lane. Shot from Wilson and a save. Rebound. And Jesper Orval couldn't quite find it. Or he might have had a chance at an open net. Now it's shot into the bench. And pointing over there is first-year assistant coach Dan Jewell. He says that should be in the zone. They'll talk about it here. 9 seconds to go in the first.
Another great opportunity by that line that's being centered by Billy Jerry this afternoon. Jesper Orval, Patrick Polino, and Billy Jerry connected on RPI's goal here in the first period, and they looked primed to be able to potentially knot it up right there, if not for Jesper Orval maybe drifting just a little bit too far to snack up the rebound. This could have been a 2-2 game.
Face-off coming up near side of the Maine end. Won cleanly by the Black Bears. Holloway high off the glass. Maybe a chance to break here. Doherty trying to track it down, goes all the way to the corner, drops it back, and the RPI just gets back in time to deny a chance there. 2-1 Maine after one. Engineers finished the period with a 15-9 advantage in shots. Face-offs were 12-8. Black Bears, no penalties in that first period. It was a pretty smooth flow to it. Obviously, when you have no penalties, that happens, but RPI withstanding some early pressure from Maine to get a goal back. And I think it was important, Tom, to get that goal to make it 2-1 heading to the second.
Yeah, there's no question. Even if there hadn't been another goal in the period, or especially if Maine had scored the third goal, you start to really kind of wonder if this is going to be RPI's night. But the way that RPI was able to kind of calmly go back out there after going down two, just over 3 minutes into the game, they were already kind of facing that hole. They were able to turn things around even before they scored the goal, and they were rewarded with that third goal of the period. So that makes it 2-1, still down, but there's a lot of optimism if you're RPI going forward. They got that momentum back. They know that they're very much in this game, and now the challenge is going to be to take that going forward and push to get the tying goal.
That line, the Jesper Orval, Billy Jerry, Patrick Polino line, I really liked what they did there. Obviously, they scored, but they had some other chances to score again, really. And Jesper Orval looks like he's back to full health. I know he got banged up early on in the season and was fighting his ways back from injury. You can't really overlook that time off the Engineers have had, whether they were practicing or not during the between games. The guys have been able to get healthy, including Jake Morello. Good to see him back out there as well.
There's no question, really, that the Billy Jerry line was RPI's top line of the period. They got the goal. They almost got a second one. But it's worth mentioning that once the Engineers got the momentum turned in their favor, really all four lines were creating opportunities, doing well offensively to try and get one in. And if they can keep that pressure up on offense, they certainly will have the opportunity to get themselves fully back into this game. We'll step aside for just a second, and we will be back in just a couple of minutes. We're going to replay the pregame interview that I conducted with RPI head coach Dave Smith. Had some technical difficulties during the pregame today, so we will play that in its entirety for you. Your score after one period of play is Maine 2 and RPI 1. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. this afternoon's contest between the Maine Black Bears and the RPI Engineers. Your score after one period of play is Maine 2 and RPI 1. Before today's contest, I had the opportunity to speak with RPI head coach Dave Smith about, well, a number of different things, how the holidays have gone, RPI's focus in this game and going forward. And I also had the opportunity to ask him about a couple of changes to the roster that have taken place since last the Engineers touched the ice. He elaborates just a little bit more on the departures of freshmen Troy York and Gavin Payne. So here now is that interview.
All right, we're with Coach Dave Smith, and Coach, most important question first, how have the holidays been for you and your family?
Yeah, they were good. It was, both my daughters are still home. One leaves after the game tonight, and that's been an enjoyable time as we've moved here and became empty nesters all at the same time. So to have them home for the Christmas season has been great.
This time of year always, for pretty much every team in the country is a little bit of a lull, so getting back into things, you were at Canisius for quite a while, so you're well aware of what it takes really to kind of come back from a layoff. What really in your mind is the most important thing in the first game back from more or less the holiday break?
Well, I think it's energy. You've got to find a way to rekindle what you were doing every single day prior to the break, and if you don't have it when you first touch the ice as a group or the other team has more than you, the one thing that can get it back is energy. We talked about it with our guys, and it is important, and we came back in the 26 and we skated and we had good energy in our practices, but you still never know. And these games aren't as reckless as the preseason game against the Canadian school typically is, but there's an opportunity for mistakes. So I think energy can help combat any mistakes that are made.
Do you feel like the break was a good opportunity for the team to get past a couple of rough games? Had a tough game against Brown, and then a game against a really good New Hampshire team that kind of it was a little bit of a rough ending to the first half of the season. But do you feel like the break is a good opportunity to kind of have a fresh start after those two games?
Well, it's all a matter of perspective, Tom, in that when you lose a game, you can make excuses or you can look for positives. And the Yale game, I thought we battled really well and found 2 power play goals late to win the Yale game. The Brown game, I thought we played exceptionally well, and with the 4-1 lead, we fell apart because we got scared. We were afraid to continue playing aggressively for fear of what might happen, and inevitably it happened. So the positives we took away from those 2 games were we can play well. Against UNH, I thought we actually dominated the game 5-on-5. Their skill and momentum they got from their power play, they scored 3 power play goals, are the positive takeaways. And we spent a lot of time on our penalty kill. Our penalty kill, and I said this at the start of the year, our penalty kills and our goals against average are closely related, and it's the most important statistic. If we can fix those, and we spend a lot of time on them over the break and continue to, we've actually really increased our Corsi numbers, our positive numbers, and I felt good about those. The long answer to disappointed we lost, happy with a lot of the things we're doing.
So kind of moving in the right direction type.
I really believe we are. Like I said, we measure some important things, Corsi, shot attempts, etc. And we're in the positive. I mean, we were at 56% against UNH and 5-on-5 Corsi, which is shot attempts, and that's a dominating effort. Their skill got them 3 goals on even strength, but their power play got them momentum. And so we've got to put a complete game together. I think we're doing it with effort and attitude, but the penalty kill has really hurt our goaltending and our goals against.
Some news that came out really publicly yesterday was that the roster for the second half of the season will be lighter by 2 forwards. Can you give us any insight as to really what's the mindset going forward with just 14?
Yeah, and so we finish our round of individual meetings with the players, and some of these serious conversations about where guys fit and where our program is going have been going on for 4 weeks, 5 weeks with those 2 guys in particular. And Gavin Payne in particular wanted to play more. He wanted to be at a place that he could contribute. And in our honest conversation, I owe it to the program to share where he fits, and I owe it to him to be honest with him. And then together we made those decisions. Troy York was obviously getting some ice time, but he wanted a different experience. The Division I commitment in terms of start to finish of your day to the end of the day is a major, major commitment. And I believe that Troy wanted something different than that. That's what he verbalized to me. And when he wanted something different than that, I said, this isn't the right place, because we're moving and we need commitment, and we need it all the time. Good kid, did what we asked when we were here, but wasn't in a happy place. So together, those decisions were for those guys to move on.
Any concerns about the decrease in depth up front?
Well, it's going to give other guys opportunity. Troy was in a spot that played some good minutes on an important line with Whiff and Vic, but we actually have made some changes that we've been talking about. We get to move Evan Tierney's up to the wing and take a little of the defensive responsibilities in our own zone away from him, and let him just go play. And that line's been dominant. That line has been dominant in practice. Obviously, they've got to put it together in a game. And Billy Jerry has earned, with 4 goals and 2 assists and good solid play, an opportunity for more ice time. And now Jake Morello comes back. So there's always a concern for depth and competition, but that's our job as coaches, to communicate and show video and keep these guys on the positive path.
Familiar foe facing for the second time this season. Going to be a third time tomorrow night, the University of Maine. First time this year on this side of the Atlantic. The first game between the Black Bears and the Engineers was pretty spirited, back and forth affair. I think both teams had their opportunities. What do you need to do tonight to get the victory?
And right now we're not in a situation where we're tweaking or matching or doing too many funky things. We're really just continuing to take steps with our game. And if we play our game, and we talked about energy, that's really important. We need to manage pucks. We can't get cute. I want to pick up on the lessons that we've learned throughout the year. We learned some things in the Brown game. We've learned some things since the UNH game on our penalty kill. We've gotten better there. We've learned how important it is to be physical. So regardless of what Maine does, I'm going to measure our success on how we play. Obviously, Maine has a hand in that because they're trying to win. So they're a good team. They've got their top 2 lines. They've got some depth there. They're on a roll since they beat us in Ireland 4-0-1 since then. And Red Gendron does a really good job coaching them. And I'm excited. It feels like it's a game that we're on our home turf now. And if we play the same way we did in Ireland, and the game goes similar, that we can be in a position to win.
All right, Coach, good luck tonight.
Thanks, Tom.
That was my discussion with RPI head coach Dave Smith. We'll step aside for a moment, and we'll be back in just a second with the second period of today's game. Your score after one period is Maine 2 and RPI 1. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Cavalier Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you the second period of this afternoon's non-conference college hockey action between the visiting Maine Black Bears and the homestanding Engineers of RPI. My name is Tom Reel, joined today by Perry Lascaris, and listen to all of this on your home for Engineers Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Your score after one period of play is Maine 2 and RPI 1. Before we get started with the second period, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browsers to WRPI.org, and you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as WRPI is broadcasting. We provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that is WRPI.org. You can also tune into any and all RPI men's home hockey games by checking out RPI TV, that is rpitv.org, or you can surf on over to YouTube and search RPI TV.
Almost ready for period number 2. Engineers finished it well. Let's see if they can carry over some of that play into the second frame. Not tested early. Rob McGovern, the junior goaltender, who doesn't come in with great numbers, as Tom mentioned, top of the broadcast. 4.47 goals against, 8.75 save percentage, 1-4 record. They've been kind of been riding Swayman, or especially over this hot streak. But with Swayman out in Buffalo, they're going to be relying on, seems like, McGovern for the series.
And it does bear mentioning that Rob McGovern was in net for both of Maine's wins over RPI last season. So he has some familiarity with RPI, and he's certainly not a pushover.
Yeah. Those at the beginning of last year's a shot by Tierney's and an easier glove stop by McGovern, but that's still the 16th shot on goal for RPI. As we start the second, just 13 seconds in, we get a stoppage.
RPI's face-off numbers for the first period, they actually trailed 12-8 in the face-off circle. Certainly something RPI will need to improve on here in the second period, but they did look stronger overall with the puck late in the first period.
Moving up the puck, here's Trail Max, and he lost it on the stick handle. Goes into the corner and then gets shoved there by Wilson. Evan Tierney's picks it up, plays it behind for Prapavesis. Prapavesis near side for Wilson, has some pressure coming from Trail Max, who's from Latvia, stands at 6'3", 190. One of the more talented forwards for this Maine team. Shot was blocked down at center. Pretty youthful overall, especially where they get their goals from. As it's played in, McGovern shoots it off the glass in the corner. It'll be moved out to center by Fossier, who's a sophomore, on that top line with another sophomore, Pearson, and a freshman in Trail Max. So this is an up-and-coming team, really, in Hockey East. Slid all the way through. Polino picks it up on the other side, moves it out to center. Riley, ooh, big hit on Riley by Veazey. Looks to be all right as he pops right back up. Here's Doherty walking in. Doherty makes a move. Shot and a save. Gloved at by Marshall, and he holds on. And a little extra there from Patrick Shea, the sophomore, trying to find that rebound, and he was pushed out of the net front by the RPI Engineers there in front.
That was a really a great move by Doherty with the puck, trying to kind of outweight Marshall, and then didn't put a whole lot on it. Just kind of tried to pop it 5-hole. Kind of got Lyndon Marshall crossed up just a little bit, but he was able to get a piece of that one and eventually deaden it in the crease in order to get the stoppage.
Face off near side of the RPI zone. One back. Smith a shot. That one skims wide. Picked up at the far point there. Good hit by Emil Orval. Puck comes free. Kicked at. Was Samek playing second goaltender in front of Marshall. Trickling in on goal. Swatted away again. Never got to Marshall. Chipped out to center. Race for the puck. Samek wants it. Trying to track it down. It's backhanded off the glass, but knocked down by Hayhurst. Centering pass right on in front. Burgess. And he didn't get the shot away. Back out to center it comes. Poked at by Grant. Fed back into the zone by Hayhurst. McGovern stops it there. A little bit of pressure comes. Another hit by Burgess. Grant trying to flip it towards goal. Bouncing puck swatted wide by Emil Orval. Smith far side of his own zone. Plays it back. Turianemi to center. Bouncing there will be gathered in by Wilson. And now Prapavesis. Stick handling through the neutral zone. Prapavesis in. The Engineers are offside. Prapavesis doesn't agree. He's also hooked a bit on his way in. But still, no penalty so far. 17:48 to go in the second period. 2-1 Maine leads.
This is just the second non-conference game that the University of Maine has played here in Houston Fieldhouse since the break of between the ECAC and what is now Hockey East. The Black Bears played just one game against the Engineers here at the Fieldhouse. That was on December 30th, 1994, as the Black Bears won.
Pipe there, shot by Pieper, couldn't get the second try off. Shot off the post was by Robbins. And now Hamilton shoots it in off the end wall, poked at by Marshall. Robbins again. Shot by Hamilton, hit the shin pad of Wilson. Trying to move it out of danger is Jaron Burke. He'll kick it to his own stick and spin it up the boards and in deep. Played around behind a hallway. Robbins off the boards. Burke breaks it up. Trying to steal it back is Reisinger. Gets it as far as the main line where Hamilton regathers. He'll throw an indirect off the end boards for hallway. Down the middle. Fed near side Morello into the zone. Stops there. Morello trying to move in. Nearly lost it. Gets it back. Hands it off for Manley. Manley, the pass in the back door, and Reisinger had half a net to shoot at, and he missed it wide. It'll be played back to the point and out to center. Riley gathers in there. A glorious chance for Max Reisinger to pick up his second goal of the year. Now it's fed up the near side wall. Brady Whiffin's going to win this race. Poked at there. Trying to pick it up at the point was Liljegren. It's pushed past him, and now Fossier in with Pearson. A shot never came. It was defended well by Samick. Behind the goal. Trail Max, wraparound try, fed it all the way through, and Whiffin picks it up on the other side. Chipped out to center, gathered in by Binner. We played into the zone. Engineers trying to track it down there. Backhanded to the near side by Samick. Tyrannies. It's worked over by Pearson. Trying to push it ahead was Whiffin, turned back the other way. Fossier, far side boards. Stops at the half wall, fed down low. Tight angle shot by Trail Max is blocked away. Pile up of bodies behind the goal. Puck comes free to the near side. Binner a shot blocked by Tyrannies, and that puck just flipped to center. Gathered in again by the Black Bears. It's Muehlbauer who shoots it in. Maine wants to change all five. Engineers pick it up. Samick near side shoots it past the loose stick on the ice and all the way down. We get an icing call. 15:37 to go. Not a lot of shots on goal, but we do have shots going each way. Still 2-1 Black Bears.
We had an opportunity moments ago by Max Reisinger, who just missed on the near side. He might have actually gotten a piece of that. I think that ended up in the side of the net. But it's really close to what he did about a month ago against, I think it was Yale. Same side of the ice, same side of the net. Gaping opportunity, couldn't get it in.
Bouncing puck eventually comes in on goal. One of those ones that goaltenders hate because it's moving very slowly. You can't really read. It's kind of bouncing at you. But Marshall was able to steer it away. Puck behind the goal now. Black Bears have it. Centering pass intercepted by Jesper Orval. Orval trying to stick handle through the middle of his own zone. He'll elect to just lob it high in the air. Waiting for it is Polino, who stayed on side. Or did he? I say no. And we'll get a face-off coming back out at center. 15:07 to go. Actually, they're going to send this face-off in the RPI zone. That's where the pass came from. Tom, that game back in 1994, I know I was researching the same thing. It was 2 years after Maine won the national championship. And so Jim Montgomery was gone, and Paul Correa left early to go play in the Olympics and never came back. So it was a
tough year afterwards for the Black Bears.
A time of transition. Yeah, right. Yeah. Here's Orval, but they still managed to beat the Engineers, as you mentioned, 8-5. Bouncing puck at center, kicked at by Hallway, played back by Quinlivan. Up the wall, gloved down by Samick, no. Picked up by Orval. Jesper high in the air towards the scoreboard, and look, it hit it. No, it did. Puck will head back to the RPI end. We'll draw it up there. 14:42 to go in the second period. Still 2-1 Maine.
And of course, that 93 Maine team featuring, as you mentioned, all-time great Paul Correa, Jim Montgomery, who has history with RPI, former assistant coach, now the head coach at Denver, where he's won a national championship behind the bench as well. Really just one of the all-time great teams that was headed up by Sean Walsh.
Shot right on and a save by Marshall. Point try from Alexis Binner. And really, I grew up watching college hockey in that time, so it was really kind of the, I don't want to call it the heyday, but the 90s were big as far as some of the big-time teams you think about.
When Maine really broke out, and these road uniforms that we see, they're pretty much the same as they were back then.
Right.
And I'd say one of the great jerseys of college hockey, these Maine road blues with the Maine and baseball script.
There's a shot that came in on goal. Marshall had to kick it away. Engineers back the other way. Centering pass was broken up and carried out by Robbins. Brendan Robbins into the RPI zone, plays it in deep, race for the puck. As cut off by Wilson, picked up by Prapavessis. Prapavessis spinning away from some trouble, plays it up the boards for Hayhurst. Lets it ride. Dinner keeps it in. Calling that Dinner. And now Wilson back behind. Prapavessis takes a hit from Westerlund. Westerlund centering pass right out in front. Shot over the top of the net by Robbins. Binner again. Throws it in the middle of the ice. Only Engineers waiting. Prapavessis just swats it into the corner. Picked up by Hayhurst. He has some pressure now. Up the wall, bouncing puck gathered in by Emil Orval, who shoots it all the way down. Will this be icing? Yes, it will. 13:32 to go in the second, and second period gotten a little bit stale. Engineers trying to avoid those quiet moments that Coach Smith talks about so often here, and just not bringing the energy that they need to have more times than not in this game.
Yeah, certainly no harm, though. We're still waiting to see that same type of energy from Maine. So, as you mentioned, Perry, kind of getting a little stale. Only 5 shots on goal here in the first half of the second period. 4-1 Maine shots.
Puck glove down, kept in by the Black Bears. Shot off the glass by Burgess out to center, gathered in by Keeper. Saucer pass far side, good connection. It's Pearson in. Shot coming that goes wide along the ice. Trying to keep it at the near point. Nice play there by Keeper on the backhand. Loose in the slot. Kept in there at the blue line once more. Fed in off a skate. Burgess picks it up. Liljegren trying to break. They'll try the home run ball. Liljegren trying to find it. And it's in the far corner. He'll track it down there as he does battle with Turianemi. And now Whiffen drops it back, and Tyranny's trying to find Manley. Left the zone. RPI will backtrack to the neutral ice area. Cross ice feed from Riley's intercepted. Black Bears touch up. Shot in the air. Trickles to the near side off the stick of Marshall and played out to center. Whiffen had a chance for a 2-on-1, but he couldn't corral it. And he and Liljegren were not in on a break. Shot back the other way by the Black Bears. Marshall, a little miscommunication there with Riley. And it's Marshall ends up shooting it far side, poked at by Tyranny's. Tyranny's in. Drop pass, no. He'll carry in further. Tyranny's onto the far corner, watched by Hamilton. Still Evan Tyranny's. 10 points on the year, 5 goals, 5 assists, back to the point. Now near point Riley, trying to throw it on goal quickly. Now Liljegren, centering pass out in front. He was trying to find Morello, just out of his reach. Puck to center ice. Engineers doing a good job to recover. And all by himself in the attacking zone is Vesey. He drops it back there, walking right in, they score. It was Patrick Shea, the trailing man. Vesey found him, and it's going to be 3-1.
And that was a great...
Or Doherty, rather, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, that was a great move by Vesey, though, to make that happen. As you mentioned, Perry, he came into the zone by himself, but he had the wherewithal to kind of just curl around, wait, look up, and see who's coming. And he was able to find Doherty with a really nice pass to a place where he'd be able to maneuver to some open ice. That's all he needed to put that one in the back of the net. Give Maine their 2-goal lead back, and as we were just mentioning, Perry, the game had gotten a little bit stale, and when that happens, you really need something to break one way or the other in order to really kind of determine which way the game is going. And from RPI's perspective, that was not the way that they wanted to see this game break, having to come back again from a 2-goal deficit.
Tipped into the zone. Engineers try to track it down far side. RPI finds itself down 2 again. Played in deep for Smith. Drop pass here. Quinlivan had it knocked off his stick right onto the tape of Lacroix, but his shot goes over the top. It'll be gathered in again by Wilson. Here's Grant. Quickly up the boards. Gathered in by Burke. He'll shovel it in deep. Back to claim it is Lacroix. Throws it off the back of his own net. And sweeping in to grab it is Binner. Intercepted at center ice for a second by Orval, but it's taken right back and shot in by the Black Bears. 3-1 game, 11:06 to go in the second. Prapavessis tipped along by Orval and in deep. First one to it, Keeper. Played around to the half boards. Towards the line and out to center. Backtracking is Orval, but he can't slow up the rush. Moving in, Robbins through his own leg. Good poke check by Prapavessis in the end to break it up. Now Polino. Jerry, cross-ice feed, read well and intercepted. Carried right back in. Keeper, shot and a save on the backhand. That was Westerlund with a try, and Marshall makes the save there, evening up the shots at 16 apiece.
You are listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Tom Reel and Perry Lascaris on the call with you this afternoon, and we're about midway through the second period. Maine holding on to a 3-1 lead. All 3 goals for the Black Bears coming on the very dangerous line centered by Tim Doherty and anchored by Nolan Vesey.
Puck to center ice. Hayhurst tracks it down, moving into the zone to the slot across Burgess. A shot, save, rebound pops loose in the middle of the ice, but it's swept away by the Black Bears. Fossier ahead, finding Trail Max, who just picks it up at the goal line extended. Loose puck in front, saved by Marshall, comes free to the point where it's gathered in by Binner. Across, Holloway, Rister, that one's blocked again. Binner a shot, saved by Marshall, and he holds on this time. And after RPI picked up the first shot of the period, it was Evan Tierney's about a minute in, less than that. It's been all Black Bears here as far as the shots on goal are concerned, and they've added to their lead because of it.
Official scoring on Maine's 3rd goal, an even strength goal at 8:01 of the second period. Tim Doherty, the 7th goal of the season for the native of Portsmouth, Rhode Island. The assist going to Nolan Vesey, his 3rd assist of the year and his 3rd point of the game. And the secondary assist going to defenseman Patrick Holloway, his 9th of the year.
Vesey in, Doherty walking in, shot and a save by Marshall. Squeeze the pads together, and now there's some extracurriculars for Whiffen, who didn't like how Vesey, who's looking for that hat trick, went after the rebound that evaporated in front of his eyes.
I think that line had a couple of outings here early in the first period, or in the second period, I should say, that were not quite as dangerous as we saw throughout the first period, but they knotted the most recent goal for Maine, and they are looking like they are going to be dangerous yet again here in a second.
Shea at the half wall for Maine. Cross ice feed, caught on the backhand by Muehlbauer. He'll play it down low. Taken up over there by Shea again. It's Brady Whiffen who comes away with it now, junior from St. Mary's, Ontario. 5 points on the year for him. Looking to get that scoring going again. But really a good two-way sentiment for the Engineers. Played in deep by Liljegren. Taking a look around there before playing the puck is Turianemi, given away. Wilson through traffic and hit a skate on the way through. There was plenty of bodies it could have come off of. I think it hit Tierney as that one shot wide by Liljegren from the top of the far circle. Prapaves is now in deep. Still Prapaves is battling, and it's stolen away by Doherty. Doherty trying to walk around Whiffen. Still Doherty, and it trickles in on goal. No shot in the end, as he was defensed well enough by the Engineers there. Doherty lost the handle on the puck, and Marshall just covers.
That just kind of underscores how dangerous that line has been. That line was actually coming off the ice. Doherty was really just moving the puck forward to give his team enough time to get a line change, and he still had enough speed in order to get the puck towards the net. And as you mentioned, Perry, not quite getting a shot off, but still ultimately getting a face-off in the attacking zone.
To the near point, Binner. Lacroix with Manley on his back, twisting and turning behind the RPI goal. Still Lacroix, backhanded through the top of the crease all the way to the far side corner. And it'll be gathered in by the Engineers. Riley with the man on his back now, Smith. Riley carries to center. Cross ice feed. There's a low percentage one. Pops right back to Riley. Up the wall, tipped in all the way by Reisinger, but he was on his own side of the red line. It'll be icing here on RPI. 8:28 to go in the second. 3-1 Maine. RPI looking for that bounce back that they got after falling behind by 2 in the first period. Haven't quite found it yet, but still time.
They do still look a little bit out of sorts, and the game had turned stale for about 5 or 6 minutes early in the second period, but it's safe to say that all of the momentum right now with the Maine Black Bears, and RPI really in desperate need of turning this one around.
Off the draw, Robbins fires high, chopped at by Burke, moves the puck into Maine territory, played quickly ahead. Hamilton will backhand it back in. Lyndon Marshall stops it behind his own goal. Shot around far side for Manley. He'll shoot it off the glass and down the ice and a race for the puck. It looks like Jesper Orval's going to get there first. Partial change behind him, trying to hold the puck up, and it's Holloway who picks it away. Holloway near side. Too far for the intended target, Westerland, and it'll be icing on Maine. We'll set up a face-off in RPI's offensive zone. Shots are 20-17, Black Bears here, and a 3-1 lead for Maine with 7:57 to go in the second.
This is really an opportunity with this face-off in the attacking zone. RPI's got to get something going, and much as it was in the second period, the Engineers need that next goal. They can't afford to go down 3 goals now that the game is more than halfway over, that would pretty much be looking like the end.
Face off here, played in. Was behind. Jerry trying to track it down. Good shield of the puck by Hallway. Hallway one-hands it in deep and goes off on a change. Helped around behind by Marshall. Picked up by Wilson. Wilson lobbing in the air. Too tall for Trail Max. Polino trying to jump on it. And it's played behind the goal by Turianemi. Fed along quickly to the opposite blue line. Fossier trying to walk in, but the Engineers converge on him. Prapavesis and Wilson. Fossier trying to work back to the puck. Picked up by Prapavesis off the glass. Moved to center. Orval trying to work it there. Orval still trying to track it down. And it's swatted back to center for Fossier. Fossier quickly ahead for Trail Max. And now Fossier again. Stops top of the circle. Fed in front. Good read by Samek. He'll shoot it off the glass back down. Not enough on it for icing. Keeper takes a look around. And he'll carry back behind his own goal. On the move. Brady Keeper. Near side to center ice for Fossier. Mitchell Fossier. Far side circle. Backhands it through to the near side corner. Chipped off the glass by Burgess. Out to center ice. Gathered in again by Dinner. Dinner across into the middle of the ice for Fossier. Yeah, I'm just hungry. Puck shot in deep. Tommy Grant ahead. Burgess stops at the red line. Little saucer pass to the middle of the ice. Right into the path of Hayhurst. It comes free to Burgess. And it's out to center. Back comes Veazey. Veazey walking in, and he put off the base of the net where he gets dumped by Grant. Tommy Grant up the far side boards and now to the near side. Hayhurst waiting for it. Ahead for Burgess. Burgess into the circle. A shot looking for that far post, and he missed it wide. Back come the Black Bears. Into the zone. Doherty. Drop pass there for Veazey. Veazey down low. Spinning Doherty got knocked off the puck. Picked up by Grant. Grant ahead for Reisinger. Onto the tape of Orval. Orval lobs it in on goal, gloved by McGovern, who hasn't had a whole lot of action. And that's first puck he's seen in a little bit here. 5:43 left in the second period. And RPI down 3-1.
I'm going to go ahead and jinx it. We still haven't had any penalties in this game. And as a matter of fact, really, the first thing I've seen all game that I thought might have potentially been a penalty was the takedown of Nolan Veazey, who is just absolutely dangerous every time that he has the puck. Tommy Grant kind of in that neighborhood taking him down. But still no calls, and with about 5:43 left in the second period, we still have yet to see the first power play of this game.
Puck shot ahead. Manley picks it up there. D-to-D pass for Riley. Tipped into the zone by Reisinger. Hamilton gets wrapped up by Morello in the corner. Puck comes loose. And it's shot ahead for Smith. Smith to the far side. Moved into the zone by Quinlivan. Will Riley taking a look around, shoots it near side, nearly knocked out of the air by Smith. He did slow it up. Reisinger at the half ball had to wait for it. Played right back down low. Here's Riley. Riley off the boards, trying to find Reisinger. And Engineers do get it to center. Shot right back in by Maine. Stopped by Marshall. Here's Riley for RPI. Riley near side for Morello. Stops at his own half boards. Plays at center ice for Riley. Riley turns back towards his own end with some pressure coming in the form of Cannon Pieper. Bouncing puck at center ice. Manley just chips it right back to the main line, but it's carried back the other way. Here comes Robbins. Crafty fourth line winger takes a shot from the far side wall. Came from Pieper. Now to the near side. Tyranny's trying to get it out of the zone. Poked at again, and now it'll be picked up by Riley. Far side Manley just swings his stick at it. Big hit there by Burke as he knocks down Westerland. RPI shoots it down the ice. This has just enough on it for icing. We'll send the faceoff back down to the RPI end. 4:19 to go in the second. Game not hanging in the balance here, but certainly the Engineers need the next one.
They're kind of being gifted an opportunity here. Maine seems to have let off the throttle just slightly, at least when the Doherty line is not on the ice. It seems that there's at least a little bit more of a lull. I'm kind of shocked because I expected to see more than I have this afternoon from the Chase Pearson line. That's the line of Pearson, Fossier, and Trailmax. They've been really dangerous against the Engineers in the 3 games they played over the last season and a half. Fossier specifically, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, has 5 goals in 3 games against the Engineers. which is a significant portion of his total career goals. He's scored 14 goals overall in 42 games, so that's a sizable chunk, to say the least. But he has looked good overall when he's been out there. Just I kind of expected a little more offensive punch from that end, but really the way that Doherty line with Tim Doherty being winged by Nolan Vesey and Patrick Shea, they just look absolutely dynamite every time they've been on the ice, and they have been by far the biggest force in this game, those three players, for either team. And RPI's challenge now is going to be to find a way to bounce back to what they had late in the first period, where they were getting some decent production, decent opportunities from all four of their forward lines.
Face-off coming up here in the RPI zone. Worked ahead for Liljegren, broken up by Muehlbauer, and sent right back to the RPI line. Here's Prapavesis, twisting and turning, trying to get away from Fossier. Working up the wall for Tierney's. Little kick around for Whiffen. Engineers do keep it in. Shot around to the near side boards, where it's gathered in by Alexis Binner. Binner, center ice for Fossier, on for Pearson at the near half wall. Shot behind by Prapavesis for Wilson, down the middle, and it's given away as could not be corralled by Whiffen. Now helped out of the zone by Liljegren, gathered back again by Binner from Muehlbauer. Pearson, poke check by Prapavesis. On comes Tierney's for the Engineers. Near side wall, Tierney's trying to make some room, trying to walk around Binner and went down. Binner now on the puck, takes a hit from Tierney's to the near side, out of the zone. Gathered in by Samek. TJ Samek on the move. Near side, here comes Billy Jerry now. Shoots it off the end boards, caroms around. Orval, that's Jesper, through Jerry, who's behind the net. Now Polino fakes a pass back to the point, carries behind. Patrick Polino all the way around to the far circle. Still Polino, looks to cycle now. Broken up by Doherty. Poked at by Jesper Orval, gets it free. Orval, center of the zone, up top, across for Grant to the near side. Takes a shot through traffic, looking for the redirect from Polino. Would have been something special to beat McGovern from there. Now twisting and turning in the far side corner is Polino. Good spell for the Engineers. Takes a tight angle shot, stick save along the ice from McGovern. And it's intercepted by Orval. Orval takes it back, takes a shot, and it's saved by McGovern on the shoulder. This Orval, Jerry, and Polino line again, the most effective for the Engineers today. As puck is swatted off the base of the net, gathered in by Grant. Shot near side, Jesper Orval backing up again. Orval turns in front of his own goal, ahead for Hayhurst. As the Engineers complete a partial change, it's moved along for Samek, who tries to dump it in and does. Past a couple of on-rushing Black Bears. It's a dangerous thought as it's shot off the boards by Quinlivan. Shot back into the zone. Engineers need to touch up and do. Quinlivan grabs it there. Quinlivan near side boards, nobody home. Burgess trying to jump on it, but Holloway's the first one to it. Holloway up the boards, intercepted on the try by Lacroix. Burgess trying to turn it up the wall. Hayhurst couldn't find it. Holloway again, tipped in deep by Quinlivan. Engineers will chase. 1:35 to go in the second period. 2-1 Maine. Only goal in this period belongs to the Black Bears, allowing them to open up another 2-goal lead. There's a high stick coming up here as Westerland took one up high from, I believe, Hayhurst, or was it Manley? Either way, we'll have our first penalty of the game as the Black Bears will go on the power play here.
I'd say this is not an opportune time for the Engineers to go on to the penalty kill. And I say this because really for the first time in the second period, the Engineers started to look like they were starting to warm something up offensively. They were able to have that Jerry line out there against the Doherty line, and they kept things kind of on an even keel by keeping control of the puck. That's been really the only way they've been able to stop the Doherty line, but now the Doherty line out there on the power play, not good news for RPI.
Engineers' penalty kill was 0 for 3 last time out. In fact, New Hampshire was perfect on special teams on 8 opportunities. 3 power plays, 5 penalty kills. Here's a shot from center, short-handed by Morello off the glass behind the goaltender McGovern. As we're approaching a minute to go, this penalty, Engineers' hope carries over to the third period as the Black Bears move it along. They shoot it in deep. Grant over to grab it there. Picked up by Grant again, trying to clear out the near side, and does all the way down the ice. Maine was 0 for 2 on the power play against RPI in Belfast. The Engineers had 5 power play chances last time against the Black Bears, and were successful on one of them. Here's Fossier off his stick, shot right back down by Riley. 30 seconds to go in the period. Engineers now would gladly take this 2-goal deficit to the third. Here's Pearson now, stick handling. There's a lane to skate down the middle, closed off pretty quickly in the end by the Engineers. Orval, and shot down the ice on goal by Riley. Fed ahead by Fossier. Fossier, 9 to go in the period, trying to skate around Prapavesis. Still Fossier to the near side. Trail Max, trying to work it back to the point. Some room over there now. Far side, hallway shot skims wide right before the horn sounded. That'd have been tight if it had found the frame of the goal. As second period comes to an end, it's 3-1 Black Bears. They are out shooting the Engineers 22-20 after 40 minutes.
So far, so good for the RPI penalty kill. They'll have some time to kill off to start the third period, but certainly that's the better of the 2 options once that penalty was taken. All told, could be a lot worse for RPI. That's really putting it mildly. Not terribly impressive during that second period, but they didn't dig themselves into a hole that's going to be impossible for them to get out of. They're just going to need to bear down and as we've been talking about, get that next goal in order to get themselves back into this one. Obviously, the sooner the better. So if the Engineers can kill off this penalty and then get something started in the third, we might have a game on our hands. But the Maine Black Bears really looking pretty good out there, especially when that Doherty line is on the ice and controlling the puck, because they have been really dangerous every single time they've been on the ice this afternoon. And for the Engineers, really the only way they've been able to stop them is to be able to control the puck while they're out there. So we will have to see if RPI can find a way to break the ice, or if Maine is going to be able to hang on to their victory and win once again against the Engineers. We will step aside, and we'll be back in a few minutes with our second intermission. Your score from Houston Fieldhouse after 2 periods is Maine 3 and RPI 1. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. with any positive results against Maine. So perhaps if your RPI, looking at the score right now, maybe not quite as bad as Quinnipiac had to deal with prior to the break. One other series that took place was out in Arizona as the Princeton Tigers had a pair against the Sun Devils. The Tigers won 4-0 on the 8th and then fell 4-3 in overtime to the Sun Devils on the 9th. Still a decent opportunity to get to Arizona in December, I'm sure, for the Tigers. And a handful of other games that took place that weekend. Colgate fell to UConn 4-2 on Friday. Bentley defeated Dartmouth 5-1 on Saturday. Union beat Holy Cross at home 4-2. Yale were 2-1 winners against Sacred Heart, and Brown and Vermont skated to a 2-2 tie at the Gutterson Fieldhouse in Burlington. Just 3 other games afterwards to speak of. UMass defeated Union 2-1 on Sunday the 10th to give Union a weekend split against teams from the Bay State. And then a pair of games out in Colorado between the Dartmouth Big Green and the Denver Pioneers. On the 15th and the 16th, Denver were 1-0 winners on Friday before the Big Green came back on Saturday with really a wild game at Magnus Arena as Denver took a 3-0 lead in the first period. It looked to be really on cruise control, having shut out the Big Green in 4 consecutive periods, but quite the comeback from the Big Green as they scored the next 3 goals in the second period, then added a 4th with just a few minutes left. I should say just under 90 seconds remaining. Dartmouth took a 4-3 lead, ended up getting an empty netter with just under a minute left, and then only 30 seconds later, Denver scoring again to make it interesting, but that was the final score. Dartmouth takes down the defending national champions by a score of 5-4. Devin Buffalo made 38 saves in net for Dartmouth, and that was the last time an ECAC team touched the ice until more or less right now. It's the Engineers taking on Maine here at home. Also going on right now, the Yale Bulldogs are facing the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs in the Ledyard Bank Classic at Dartmouth. The Bulldogs with a 3-0 lead, well, I should say Minnesota Duluth with a 3-0 lead over Yale, as that is a battle of Bulldogs. I suppose that would be like me saying the Engineers were ahead in a game between RPI and MIT. But I digress. One other game
off the first penalty of the game for either team. Now Holloway can't completely avoid a hip check from Wilson, but it's carried behind the goal by Pearson. Loose puck, side of the net, covered by Marshall. He holds on. 19-12 on the clock, third period. Still most of it left. RPI down a couple, but they need some momentum to get some momentum going in order to try and pull one back here.
That's RPI's first successful special teams outing in the last 9 opportunities, so maybe something to build on for the Engineers. They're still trailed by 2, but now they're back to even strength and an opportunity now to going forward. If they can get that next goal, we've got a game.
Face off, one back to the point, played in deep. Here's Whiffen trying to move it up the wall. Gloved at, no, Liljegren couldn't corral. And now Binner near side. Down low with it. Puck out to this far circle, glove down by Tierney's, rings it off the glass, hard all the way down the ice, and it'll be icing here on RPI. I think Tierney's just trying to get a little better angle on that one. It kind of sailed on him for the icing.
This is a game where RPI really can't count on getting an opportunity on the power play. It's been a very, very cleanly played game, and whereas in previous seasons we used to see officials try to keep things relatively even on the power play opportunities, the way Maine is playing this game, I don't see it being super likely that RPI is going to get a power play chance, so they've got to try to do something even strength.
Up the near side boards. Digging for it there, Liljegren. Lacroix for Maine. It's out to center. Poked at by Tierney's. Hamilton shoots it across. There's Smith who shoots it in. Broken up there by Riley. And now Whiffen. Brady Whiffen stick handling. Moves it up the near side wall and in deep. I think. Yeah, got it deep on the second try. Gathered in by Hamilton. Mark Hamilton near side. Gathered in here. Moved along. Quinlivan. Shot goes wide from a tight angle all the way out of the zone. Just off the bench here, it's keeper up the wall. Gathered in by Prapavestis. Ahead for Emil Orval. Backhands it in deep. Engineers will chase. 3-1 Black Bears. 2:10 into the third. It's near side. Turning with it is Pieper behind the goal. Finding keeper. Near side. That pass from Westerland a little off the mark, but it's gathered in by Holloway. He has some pressure, backhands it out of play. Face-off coming up in the main zone here, and like the early stages of the second period, not a whole lot going on. RPI with an opportunity here maybe to capitalize on this slow Maine start.
Rob McGovern hasn't had a whole lot to do since the second period began. RPI with just 5 shots since the end of the first period. The overall shots on goal are pretty even. It's 22-20, but the vast majority of RPI's shots came during the first period, and it's been 13-5 ever since. Really not much going on here in the third period. No shots on goal recorded for either team, but I'm certain that suits Maine just fine. It's really incumbent on RPI to really force the issue if they're going to get back into this one.
Face off here. Pushed in. Oh, McGovern caught off guard a bit and shot into the corner. To the near side half wall. And now moved out to center ice. Big hit behind the play. Back comes the Black Bears. Westerland. His shot was blocked by Grant and then goes down. Picked up by Orval. RPI has numbers if they want to break here. Billy Jerry leading the rush. He has the lone RPI goal, his 5th of the year. Polino down low. Orval throwing his body around. That was Jesper, but it's the Black Bears to come away with it near side. Robbins. Cross ice feed too far out in front of the intended target. That was a defenseman, Turianemi, couldn't corral. Now Polino gets a touch on it. Too much of it, in fact. And it stayed in the neutral zone. And now keeper ahead. Trailmax. Big hit by Riley. He absolutely punishes Fossier there, and he's down along the half wall. Shot coming, save made, rebound pops out to Fossier, who just got up, and then Tommy Grant goes and stares him down a bit. Trailmax near side, one of the biggest hits of the year, as a shot comes right on, save made by Marshall, rebound, trying to find it, and he eventually does enough to just keep Pearson out. It'll be shot all the way down the ice, no hit escape, picked up by Burke, oh, he can't corral. As it's knocked away by Muehlbauer. Big collision in the corner near side. Maybe that hit will wake up these Engineers. As it's lobbed ahead by Binner. Slowed up by Riley. On for Burke. Burke, with Tierney's waiting for him, had to stop up at the blue line. Does get the puck in deep. Chopped at by Pearson. Now Burke just runs into Binner, and Binner comes away with the puck. Binner's stick handling, dumps it in. Don't see a lot of open ice hits like that. One that Riley applied to Fossier, but looks to be all right. He was a little slow to get up. Here's Whiffin off the handoff from Manley. Drops it back for Charlie Manley. Sophomore defenseman out of Orchard Park, New York. He was home. He could be watching the U.S. play Canada. They're down 3-2. Here's Prapavessis, a shot over the top. Pops to the far side of the net. Liljegren couldn't get his stick on it. And it's lobbed all the way down the ice. On goal, stopped there by Marshall. Ahead for Tierney's, and a good indirect pass. Shot right on, a save made by McGovern. Rebound popped in the near corner. And now Shea. Ahead for Lacroix. Lacroix dumps it in, has to deal with Whiffin. Holloway fell down on his way back to the bench. Centering pass right on in front. A stop is made, I think, or it was blocked. Rebound, puck still loose, and it trickles wide. I want to see a replay on that. Holy cow, I don't know what happened there. If it was a save, it was tremendous from Marshall, but my instincts say it hit the defenseman in front. And now we get an icing call. And RPI dodges a bullet there. Still down by 2. I think
that might have just hit maybe the side of the. I'm not sure how he didn't score on that one. It's just looking at the replay.
Great stop. I think Wilson might have blocked it. They have the top-down angle. This might tell the full story here. Oh, no.
That was a good save by Marshall.
Right pad from Marshall.
Right place, right time, and good instincts.
And another one as well.
That save keeps RPI in this game.
Tremendous stop,
There's no question.
No block shot there. It was a great right pad stop by Lyndon Marshall. Puck sent across the ice. Prapavessis ahead for Tierney's. Lob forward for Whiffin. Whiffin will tap it to the corner. He and Binner go there. Taken away by Robbins. Shot coming right on with Marshall makes the stop on the try by Robbins. 5 goals and 4 assists for the junior Brendan Robbins, but he's looked at as crafty as any of the forwards on this team. They seem to be a pretty deep squad here, Maine.
Absolutely. This is a young Maine team too overall. So
right.
Really the biggest piece that they're going to be losing at the end of this season is Feezy, which is an awfully big piece. But there's a lot to like about this Maine Black Bears team.
Right off the draw, puck comes free, picked up by Todd Burgess. A goal and 8 assists on the year for Burgess. And he has his pocket picked by Trailmax, who lost his stick. And that'll thwart that rush for the Black Bears. Now stick handling through traffic is Hayhurst. Gets it across to Burgess, shoots it in. RPI fans looking for maybe their first power play. Not going to get it here. And it's carried back the other way by the Black Bears. Poked at, good stick and skate placement by Samick breaks up the play. Sent right back into the zone far side. Grant cuts off Trailmax. Picked up again by the Black Bears. They go D-to-D at their own blue line. It's Keeper. Fed in, broken up by Samick, trickling wide of goal. Stopped by Marshall anyway, and he'll cover it up. 13-19 to go in the third. 3-1 Black Bears.
You know, Perry, you talked about the potential for big hits to have a good solid impact going forward and maybe change the momentum. And we saw a really big hit laid up by Will Riley out on Mitchell Fossier. But you kind of saw almost in the immediate aftermath that it wasn't really the kind of turnaround you want, because Maine still controlled the puck. They still controlled the zone for quite a while after that. And usually after a big hit like that, you want to see something turn pretty quick, and it really just wasn't happening for RPI.
Right. I want that to happen. Immediate impact, right. Here comes Shea on his backhand, trying to walk it out in front, and good defense there. He was tied up in the end by Riley, and he never really got a shot off. That's what you want, an easy stop for your goaltender, and no real scoring chance for the opposition.
And that hit by Riley, certainly, I mean, that's one of the hits of the year. There's no question, and they're just re-showing it up on the big board here. But I don't really think it's had the impact that needed to have, and it certainly could have. You want a big hit like that to make your team respond and start moving things in the opposite direction, but still really no response from RPI.
Here's Hamilton walking in, saved by Marshall. Rebound just sits there, and it's finally swept away. Now Doherty at the circle. Carried it all the way back to the point area before he backhands it back in. Here's Vesey. 2 very early goals in the first period. So far, that's the difference in this one. Nolan Veazey's 2 tallies that came in the first 3 minutes and change of this game. Here we are, 12:23 to go in the third. Doherty trying to walk it on in front, touched away by Orval. Gets it back from Polino, gave it right back, and no, it wasn't looking for the pass. And now a centering pass by Shea. Smith's bottled up, bouncing puck, swatted at a couple of times and pushed wide in the end by Riley. Near side, Polino, no. Picked up by Doherty, had to skate through Polino, steals it away, plays it back for Manley. Manley stick handling far side, backhanded up the wall. Knocked down there was Orval. They'll wave off the icing. He tried to play it, but it was impeded upon. And now moved along by the Black Bears. A shot and a save by Marshall. He'll hold on to it there.
Still kind of waiting to see if RPI is going to be able to produce that punch that they need. Just the key word before the game started was energy. That's what Coach Dave Smith wanted to see, was a little bit of energy, some kind of get up and go from his guys. And early in the game, they were missing that. They got down because of that. And now in order to get themselves back into it, we just need to see a little bit more pep from RPI. Maine is certainly willing to kind of sit back and let them come to them. But RPI really not obliging.
Prabhavaz ices it here. We'll send the draw back to the Engineers' end. Shots are 30-21 Maine. And this matchup last time out, back in late November on the Thanksgiving time, the shots were 27-20 Black Bears. So we're around the same spot we were then, and close to the same scoreline.
And it's worth mentioning. I mean, RPI should not be out of this game. It just, the way things are playing out, they just need that extra jump in order to really, I think, make themselves believe that they have a shot in this one.
Puck in the corner. Prabhavaz, still plenty of time left. Over 11 minutes and 20 seconds now. Tie up along the far side boards. Comes free behind the net. Poked at by Wilson. Prabhavaz is going to track it down here. Try to roll it back for Wilson, and does. The senior captain Wilson from Calgary, Alberta. Former Vernon Viper. Here's Jaron Burke on a good connection through center. Carries on the backhand, hands it off for Wilson. Wilson carries, takes a shot. Rebound Reisinger, save again. On the right pad, McGovern sliding from his right to the left to right, excuse me, to make that second save. As bothered a bit there was McGovern. It was a good rush from the Engineers. Didn't start out that quickly, but in the end, anytime you can get the stick on Jared Wilson with a shooting lane, you want to do that. Trickling in wide of goal, covered by Marshall anyway, as Pearson gets into a shoving match with TJ Samick. And they stare each other down, and the linesmen come in to separate things.
I think if RPI was going to get their opportunity on the power play, that was a potential moment right there. It was a very fine line between a good back check and a hooking call, with Reisinger trailing that shot by, I think that was Wilson that took the big one. That was an opportunity for the Engineers. That might be a spark if they can start grabbing a little more control of the puck.
Trailmax centering, broken up nicely by Samick, who went down at the right time to a knee to break up the centering pass, and now sent back to their own zone. Hallway up the wall, letting it run. Trailmax, I don't think he touched it. Well, they're saying he did. They wave off the icing. This turns into a chance here for the Black Bears. Centering, broken up by RPI in the back check, Liljegren. And now to the neutral zone. Gathered in again by Hamilton. I don't think the Engineers let off there, but it looked like Trailmax missed the puck. And Engineers would have had a bit of an argument there if Maine would have capitalized there. It turned into a giveaway. Now a good outlet pass is closed off, but there's a drop pass here. Shot coming, Shea, blocked down by Riley. Hayhurst trying to jump on it, trying to poke it by everybody. And a little ambitious there from Hayhurst, who then has to deal with the bigger Muhlenbauer. Played around to the near side wall. Burgess trying to keep it in. No, out to center. Chopped at by Manley. Carried on further by Shea. On for Veazey. Stops at the near side point. Drop pass there. Blue line. Walking in. Shot goes wide. Karams to the far side where it's swatted behind by Marshall. Shot came from Binner. Now another play in front. Veazey on the back door. Turned away by Marshall again. Veazey hands it off to the near side point. Good pass. Muehlbauer. Backdoor feed. And that was looking for Veazey, but he was behind the net and never actually got to it. Now Manley for RPI. Under 9 to go in the third. 3-1 Black Bears lead. Game 1 of this 2-game series. Manley loses at center. Lobbed in the air by Lacroix into the near corner. Prabhavaz is there. Behind in the air. It'll come down in the corner. Burgess Tried to shoot it off the glass. It was broken up. Lacroix takes a hit from Burgess. Quinlivan, and now a whistle and a hand pass called. 8:38 to go in the third. Some jump to this game. Not really momentum either way, but the teams are playing a little more urgency, seeming the last couple minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're an RPI fan and you're looking for those signs of life, they're starting to kind of creep in a little bit. There's not, as you mentioned, any kind of severe momentum swing going on, but if you're looking for that kind of opening, it's certainly there for the Engineers, and you really have to tip your hat to Lyndon Marshall as well, because here in the third period, he's kept his team alive.
Lobbed in by Wilson to the far corner. Deadens around the Zamboni door area. Played up the far side wall. And now moved to center ice. Here is Jack Quinlivan. Takes a hit from Wilson, but does get it deep. Smith is now wrapped up by Prapavesis. Loose puck, and at least three of the players on the ice didn't know where it was, and they were the closest ones to it. Now Orval moves it out to center ice, 3-on-2 as they hit the line. Jerry across, Polino a wrister. That one's blocked by traffic and hops out of play, and we get a stoppage.
And that's what it's going to take for RPI, is opportunities like that. They moved the puck well in transition. They gained the zone, and they took a quick shot. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere near the net, but if you're going to create opportunities on some level, you just have to kind of spray and pray almost. It's not a matter of waiting for the perfect opportunity. Sometimes you really just have to go in there, make them control that first shot. Otherwise, be ready to pounce on the rebound. That's what RPI was trying to do right there.
Shot around to the near side. Robbins takes a look around. Pass a little bit behind Pearson, but he gathers it in. Pearson in. Shot was blocked. Second try save made by Marshall. And the rebound swept away by Morello. Not enough on it for icing. The perfect weight. If you're a fan of maybe curling, is it shot ahead by Robbins? Right in the front of the house for Morello. There's a shot right on. Save made by Marshall. Turning and shooting. It was Westerland, and Marshall saw that one as well and gloved it.
Maybe the only college hockey commentator out of the side of the state of Minnesota willing to use a curling reference.
Well, I'll use it every time.
You weren't wrong.
No, yeah, right. Yeah, I guess that's the most important thing. Shots are 33-23 Maine, 7:29 to go in the third period. Just at the St. Paul Curling Club last week, so
fun time.
I brushed up a little bit. No, certainly no pun intended. Although it should have been. Yes. TJ Samick on his way out to center, finding Tyrannese, who fires wide off the base of the net. Tyrannese again trying to backhand it in front, picked up by Trailmox. And he'll move it ahead for Fossier. Now Pearson back to Fossier. Fossier into the zone. Walking around the net, trying to center. There's a big pileup at the side, near side post, and looked like Marshall had it covered well. There were a couple Engineers there as well, and now Tommy Grant didn't like something that happened behind the goal, and he threw a fisticuff in there.
Really like what I'm seeing from this. It's listed as the top line for the Black Bears.
The sophomore group there?
Yeah,
I guess,
the one
and
anchored by
Trailmax, yeah.
Fossier and Pearson for sure. I mean,
yeah.
that was a line I was, as I mentioned, expecting a lot coming into this game. They haven't been the engine. That's been really the VZ line for sure. They've scored all three of Maine's goals, and they've been very dangerous. But I think here in the third period, you're starting to see a little bit more from that Fossier-Pearson line. Both of those gentlemen natives of Alpharetta, Georgia. So I'm going to guess there's probably a 0% chance that they didn't know each other growing up.
If you play hockey in Alpharetta, you probably do. There's a shot right on with a point by keeper. Easy stop by Marshall. When we talk about the shot attempts now, that's the 65th attempt for Maine. The Engineers have attempted 40. That's where some of those advanced statistics are derived from. Of course, you have to subtract the power play shots there, but with only the one power play shot, we can tell you they're not far off from that. There's a centering pass broken up by Riley, and he'll gather it in. Fed along quickly for Emil Orval, trying to walk around keeper. He was upended, penalty coming up. I'm not sure how much of a sell job was Orval. He did take looked like a hand in the face or a stick to the face from keeper. He was trying to get around him, and if you're the defender there, keeper, you have to keep your feet moving, and he didn't, and I think that's what hurt him there.
Yeah, that was a good move by Emil Orval, the freshman out of Halmstad, Sweden, to really know what was going on and kind of create an opportunity. That's being very reasonable to say that he created an opportunity. And as I was mentioning, it didn't look like Maine was going to give up a power play this afternoon, and they actually do at an inopportune time. And this is really crucial for RPI. If they can get something going with its interference call against keeper, it's game on.
12.3% for the RPI power play, 10 for 81. As Prapavessis will gather. A good stretch, a couple games where they scored on a few games in a row on the power play. Trying to regain that magic here. They were 0 for 5 against New Hampshire last time out. Prapavessis from his own zone after a Black Bears cleared. Hayhurst had it knocked off his stick. Maine nearly broke the other way, but now RPI with a chance with the Black Bears out of position, but they quickly regather. Prapavessis along the near side half wall in the attacking zone, waiting across into the skates of Emil Orval. He'll play it down low for Liljegren. Back up top for Orval. Riley set up for a one-timer top of the zone. Orval takes a shot anyway, and it's picked up by the Black Bears and cleared down that time by Muehlbauer. The junior defenseman playing in his 17th game. No points for Muehlbauer. And now we get a whistle here where we get a puck played with a high stick. Not much the Engineers could do about that. They had to touch the puck eventually and just to get a whistle. 102 on this RPI power play. 5:35 left in the third. 3-1 Maine.
It's been a refrain from RPI fans for years on the power play was shoot the puck. And while that's not always the best of things, that's something that I think this team right now, given the situation, given the overall game tenor, would probably be wise to do, and they certainly just did it right there on that last opportunity.
No, puck was played with a high stick, and they're going to say, I believe it's where it happened. So it happened in the offensive zone for RPI. The puck was touched with a high stick, that is. So the faceoff comes outside the zone. So although the puck was actually touched up by RPI in their own end, the draw comes to where the infraction occurred, or just back a zone, right? So that's why the faceoff was in the neutral zone there. And now Tyranese will stick handle through center, played across. Stick handling far side, Polino. Center blue line, Wilson lining one up. He takes a shot. Rebound, Burgess trying to track it. It was a puck that just bounced on him a little bit. Now to the near side, half boards, Polino. Wilson across. One-timer, Tyranese, he scores! Evan Tyranese roofs one. His 6th goal of the season, and RPI is within 1.
That's what I'm talking about. Shoot the puck. Good things happen. That was the third shot attempt of that sequence, and it came on a one-timer with Tyranese down to his knee for stability. Just rifled that one to the top of the cage with 5:09 remaining. As I said, it's game on if RPI could score on the power play. They're now 2 for 2 on special teams here this afternoon. And it's back on. It's 3-2 Maine.
5:09 to play. Evan Tyranese rips it. Everyone in the building, including myself, was thinking, well, Wilson's probably going to shoot this, but in the end, he made a great pass across. And Tyranese, a no-doubter, top shelf, and McGovern going right to left could not stay tall enough to try and keep that one out of the top corner.
You do normally see Jared Wilson taking shots on the power play in the position that he was in, but he's been quarterbacking the power play practically since he got here, and he makes good decisions with the puck when he is on the power play. He's been one of the really key cogs for the Engineers in the last few years with the man advantage, and he really kind of displayed right there that kind of smarts that he needs to really help this team.
Polino fanning on that attempt from the middle of the slot. Prapavessis walking in. He takes a shot. And McGovern makes the glove save. And Prapavessis, known for really not shooting the puck from the blue line. He likes to maneuver and pass. And that time he took matters into his own hands. But he was denied there by the glove of McGovern.
And RPI trying to seize the momentum off that goal. They won the face-off. They're moving forward. You got the face-off now coming up in the attacking zone. This is really where RPI starts to move if they can. They've got to have that killer instinct for the tying goal.
3-2 game now after the RPI power play goal. Their first power play opportunity of the game. Kept in nicely by Riley along the blue line. Down low it goes. Muehlbauer to the far side for Smith. And now behind his keeper, Reisinger, trying to outwork keeper over there to hit the puck. And his keeper who plays it ahead. Through the legs of the intended target, Lacroix from Quinlivan. But the Black Bears do get it deep. Burgess steering up the boards, ran into the referee over there. It's carried along by Prapavessis. Ahead for Reisinger. Prapavessis going to go in on his own into the near corner. Puck pops free. Burgess there at the half wall. far post, one-timer, save by McGovern. Oh my, Hayhurst was absolutely robbed by Rob McGovern here. This game should have been tied.
Even the horn operator thought that one went in. I was expecting that one to go in.
Oh, hit the post.
The way that it came in. Oh, it was very, very close.
It hit the post.
Hayhurst wants that one back.
I take back the credit to McGovern. All he did was cover it.
Yeah, Hayhurst
fell on him.
Hayhurst wanted that one, and he was holding his head afterwards.
Oh my!
The post. It was this close to being a tie game. But RPI buzzing the way they need to be in order to try to get this game tied.
Off the pipe from Hayhurst. Looking for his team-leading eighth. He didn't get it. Now a drop pass here from Robbins to nobody. It's moved out to center. Pearson trying to move it in. Chopped at by Wilson. Waiting for it at center ice is Liljegren. On further for Whiffen. Stick handling far side. Backhands it on goal. McGovern very casually covers up here with Tyrannese crashing. And we get a stoppage with 3:38 on the clock. Engineers come oh so close to tying the game. Jacob Hayhurst with a one-timer. Just absolutely probably put a dent in that right post, but it stayed out.
Scoring on RPI's second goal of the afternoon, a power play goal at 14:51 of the third period. Evan Tyrannese, his sixth goal of the season, with the assists going to Jared Wilson for his fourth of the year, and Patrick Polino for his, should be sixth of the season, and second point of the game.
Polino stick handling in front, and he lost it at the end. Maybe poked away. Riley a one-timer that goes wide. Polino trying to kick it out in front to a teammate and is eventually cleared down. Does it have the legs for icing is the question, yes. And a big play there by Will Riley as he beat his man. Robbins down ice. Will send the face-off to the main end. You're listening to RPI Hockey 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. Perry Lascaris, Tom Reel. 3:19 to go in the third period. This is live action here on this Friday afternoon. RPI and Maine, a 4 o'clock start, so we're almost done with this one. But overtime could be in the future if RPI keeps playing like this over the final 3:19.
Well, we're talking about it for much of the third period, waiting to see if there was going to be a momentum swing. There was maybe a slight edge to Maine for much of this final frame here, but RPI has seized control. They did it by kind of, we'll say, manufacturing a power play opportunity, which they were able to capitalize on with a goal by Evan Tyrannese. And then since that goal, there's been some energy in this place. There's been really some get up and go from RPI on the ice. The momentum has certainly shifted entirely in their direction. These last couple of minutes has really seen the Black Bears just kind of holding on for dear life. And Rob McGovern, I think, is going to want to kiss that post just to his left, because that is literally the difference between the current score and a tie game. And Jacob Hayhurst, as we watch the replay going on RPI TV, is kind of putting his hands on his head. The goal horn sounded. That's really how close it was to being a goal for RPI. It wasn't a gimme, but it was one I think Hayhurst wishes he could have had maybe a little more finesse on to put that one to the back of the cage. And Maine here has got to find a way to really dig deep and bring their A game on defense, because RPI looks ready, willing, and able to throw the kitchen sink at them, and that's basically what they've been doing these last couple of minutes.
Out of the Maine timeout, shots are 35-28 Black Bears. Just one power play each way, and the Engineers capitalizing on theirs moments ago to make it 3-2. Maine 0 for 1. Face-off now 34-28 Black Bears, so RPI's closed the gap there. And the draw is pushed into the near corner. Hallway ahead. Pearson lobbing it towards the RPI line. Glove down by Prapavesis. Gets some help from Reisinger. Now a good outlet pass from Burgess on for Hayhurst. Hayhurst lost an edge and went down. And that'll allow the Black Bears back the other way, but they give it away. Prapavesis across. Riley down the middle. Tapped in deep by Reisinger. They chase. Under 3 to go in the third. Big hit by Reisinger behind the goal. Hallway near side. Trailmax had it, tried to clear. Bouncing puck snatched at by Burgess on the glove, but he couldn't keep it in. Back to the RPI line it goes, but the ice certainly tilted in RPI's favor here, as you would expect with the team trailing to put the pressure on. But you have to bring that energy as well. Liljegren, Tyrannese, the most recent RPI goal scorer, to Wilson. Shot was blocked. Tried to play it back was Liljegren, but it leaves the zone. It was good work by Liljegren, who was all tangled up there with Shea. Quickly ahead to Tierney's. Tierney's waits at the point. Try to feed it down low, broken up by Hamilton. Now Whiffen swats it down low. Liljegren just takes his man with him into the corner. Centering pass from Wilson. Pops free to the point. Whiffen trying to keep it in and does. It's knocked down in the corner. Jared Wilson, 2:05 to go in the third. Still in his net is Marshall. Now it's Liljegren at the half wall. He'll cycle there. Tierney's steps out from the crease to try and play behind the goal. Swatted to the near side boards. Wilson pinching in. Jared Wilson to the corner. Wilson across. One time, no. As Tierney's tried to just slam it in front quickly. Fanned on the play. Now Grant just lobbing it ahead. Hits off the dasher in the near corner. Gathered in by Hallway. RPI will change all 5. It's flung far side off the wall, picked up by Riley in his own zone. Near side Wilson. 1.5 to go. There's a giveaway at center. Lobbed ahead. Marshall was on his way to the bench. He has to go back to the net to play the puck. Now shot near side for Jerry. Jerry fanned on the pass. Pearson picks it up in the far corner RPI zone. Losing his stick there was Riley. He'll pick it up. Polino, far side off the skate of Jerry. Through the legs of Polino. Goaltender off. Maine has the puck. 6 skaters out there, but the Black Bears have it at center. Swatted into the zone by Robbins. 1:05 to play. Riley. Nearly read by Pearson, but it's the Engineers who do have it. Move it to center. Burgess, stick handling. Fed to the main line. Maybe a chance for an empty net try. Playing goaltender there was Prapavessis, although it went through his legs. He did deny it from potentially going in. 46 seconds to go in regulation. RPI down 3-2. They have the netminder out. 6 skaters. Hayhurst can't corral. Clearing effort by Lacroix. Knocked down by Prapavessis at the near point. Trying to cycle there. Orval, that was Jesper. And now down low it goes. Wraps around to the far side. Riley will pinch. Broken up there. Chip to center with 24 seconds left. Prapavessis at his own blue line. Indirect to the near side for Hayhurst. Hayhurst lost it. And now keeper the chance. Picked up by Liljegren. Tap back towards the RPI zone. Liljegren there. Across for Wilson. 10 seconds to go. One more rush here for RPI. Carried ahead by Hayhurst. He ran into Whiffen. Picked up by Tierney's. Across. One-timer. Save made. Rebound swept to the near side as they got Wilson in a good spot. But his shot hit traffic in front. And RPI so close on a couple occasions late. They fall 3-2 to Maine in this one.
Some excellent defense by the Black Bears late in this one. They did dig down after that timeout. They got themselves in a good spot to keep the puck out of their cage for one last time. They really put up a good defensive front in the neutral zone after RPI pulled their netminder, but really you gotta have to tip your cap to the Doherty line, the Doherty, Vesey, Shea line. Really, were just absolute beasts out there, especially in the first 2 periods. And it's not all gray skies for RPI. I mean, you have to just really look at the last 6 minutes or so of this game and see some good silver linings for the Engineers as they really brought it. They came so close to tying this game up, and they didn't ultimately quit in the end. You kind of were waiting to see when that kind of spark was going to come. It did come. This was not a game that was ever really a blowout by the Black Bears, and it's a game that maybe other than the first 3 minutes or so really never looked like RPI was going to be out of it. So something to build on for the Engineers. Coach Smith has talked a lot about kind of wanting to see good results from his team regardless of whether they win or lose. Obviously you want to win games at the end of the game, but you know, especially for a season like this for RPI, they've got a lot of losses. So realistically, going forward for them, this game really doesn't have a whole lot of meaning, and it may as well be an exhibition for what their purpose is. If this was a better year where they had been racking up wins, you'd want to have victories in these for pairwise purposes. But for RPI, it's EAC or bust. So with that kind of outlook, you want to see how they can improve in games like this. They want to see how they can bounce back tomorrow night and respond to a game where they didn't get the outcome that they wanted, but to see if the process is going in the right direction. And there were certainly lots of moments during this game where you wanted to see more from RPI, but they reacted well to certain game conditions in the first period and then late in the game. And you take that going forward, and you hope that they can improve on it and maybe get a result tomorrow.
Absolutely, that's the biggest thing. Is they get a chance against the very same team tomorrow. They played pretty well, I thought. Like there's a couple of moments, those quiet moments that really, nothing really, I guess, happened. And I think Maine had a couple of opportunities to put the game away. They were denied by some good defense by the Engineers. Also, Lyndon Marshall, who rebounded from giving up. Anytime you give up 2 goals early, even if not your fault for Marshall, it's tough to mentally kind of process that and put that behind you. I think he did a good job, especially as a freshman, in putting those goals behind him and really shutting down the Black Bears for, almost a duration. They gave up the third period goal, but he kept RPI in this one. They didn't give up any glaring opportunities other than the first 3 minutes there. They kind of tightened things up, and winning in college hockey is so difficult. The teams are so balanced that. That was the difference in the game. The opening 3 minutes.
Absolutely, there was.
After that, it was an even game. The shots maybe say something a little bit different as far as overall.
And there were certainly ebbs and flows,
right,
both ways with shots. But yeah, absolutely, it's kind of.
It's so tight that you cannot have those 3 minute lapses, and that's where games are won and lost. And
we've seen that, and we've definitely seen that for years.
Right.
You can go back over the years, especially recently, and look at, well, they lost this game by a goal, they lost this game, and it's not that they're playing poorly overall. It's just that they have those little lapses in judgment, they have those little lapses in control during games where they let certain items get away from them, and that ends up being the difference in the game. I think from RPI's perspective, one of the things that they want to look at going to tomorrow's game, as you mentioned, Perry, it's a game against the same team that they played tonight. So in a lot of ways, from the ECAC perspective, this is really what you only see in the playoffs.
Right.
It's the last opportunity they're going to get to say, okay, how would we approach this if this is the playoffs and this is game 2 and it's do or die? How are we going to respond against a team we just saw? So
I also think that, Tom, this is probably one of the better matchups you're going to have to prepare yourself for the rest of league play. This is a talented Maine team. I wouldn't say they play exactly the style of other ECAC teams, but they have a lot of speed and they have a lot of offensive talent, and I think that's something that is a good barometer for RPI. They can kind of they are still working things out, and the results aren't 100% here with Maine as they will be next weekend in league play.
Absolutely. So, Red Gendron, longtime Yale assistant, so he knows the ECAC in and out, and he certainly is bringing a very ECAC-type game to Maine. So, yes, absolutely. It's going to be a great barometer. Not only was tonight's game a little bit of a barometer, tomorrow night will be an excellent barometer to see exactly where the Engineers are as they head into the meat of the ECAC play.
I'll run down the scoring quickly. Tom will come up with his offensive and defensive engineers of the game, and we'll get out of here. Nolan Vesey got the scoring started at 1:02 of the first period from Patrick Shea. Then it was Vesey again at 3:13 to make it 2-0 from Shea and Tim Doherty. Billy Jerry made it a 2-1 game at 12:51 of the first period. His 5th of the year from Patrick Polino and Jesper Orval. Then at 8:01 of the second, Maine made it a 3-1 lead, a 2-goal lead back. Tim Doherty is 7th of the season from Vesey and Patrick Holloway. RPI then pulled one back on the power play to make it 3-2. Evan Tierney's 6th goal of the year from Jared Wilson and Patrick Polino.
Well, my offensive engineer of the game is going to go to freshman Billy Jerry. He scored RPI's first goal this afternoon, and really, even though that was his only official shot on goal for the contest, he really was the center of the line that was the engine for the Engineers tonight. This was really a game where, alongside Jesper Orval and Patrick Polino, who had a couple of assists, they made things happen out there for RPI. They made it look like they were going to be creating things. There were a few moments in the game where nobody was really kind of creating much of anything, but really when that line was out there and led by their center, they were still, the area in which you thought that they were going to be creating something was coming from that kind of nucleus. So with one goal this evening, Billy Jerry, my RPI offensive engineer of the game. And defensively, I think you really just have to give it up for Jared Wilson and the work that he's done in the back, because a lot of times we've looked at Jared Wilson. We see that he's a terrific two-way defenseman. He gets a lot of plaudits and very well due for the work that he does on the power play, for his willingness to take shots even at even strength. But he seemed to always kind of be in the right place at the right time this evening. And that was really best typified by where he was standing when Lyndon Marshall made some really big saves midway through the third period. Without the kind of leadership that he displays out there and his just having good positioning, more or less, it would be a different team. And his partner, Mike Prapavesis, it's a senior duo. They show some really good poise out there. And it's hard to not be able to tip your cap to both those guys because Prapavesis stood in there when it mattered as well. So for RPI, that's something you got to lean on is when you don't have that initiative, when you don't have that momentum, when you're trying to get it back, having some senior leaders back on defense that can help you lift your goaltender up and give you opportunities to go the other way with it are really just pretty special. So Jared Wilson with a tip of that cap to Mike Prapavesis as well, my RPI defensive players of the game. That's going to just about do it for us here at the Fieldhouse. But before we leave, we would like to say some thank yous and throw out just a quick reminder that our next WRPI Sports broadcast will be tomorrow afternoon, emanating right here from Houston Fieldhouse, as these two teams do battle once more, with the Maine Black Bears facing off against the homestanding Engineers from RPI in the second game of a two-game non-conference set. The puck drop for tomorrow is exactly the same as it was today, 4 p.m., so we should be on air at roughly 3:45. We also want to thank DJ Scooter back at the station for coming out a little bit early before his show, Sounds of Now, which will be commencing momentarily. We thank him for the work that he did in getting us out on the air, helping us overcome the technical difficulties we had during the pregame set, and thank him for all the work that he does really year in and year out as our usual guy on Friday afternoons and evenings. So thank you very much, DJ Scooter. Also like to thank the Rensselaer Union because they provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. As a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. And you can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day and 7 days a week as long as WRPI is broadcasting. We provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that's WRPI.org. You can also check out RPI TV. They are on the internets at RPITV.org. You can also see them at YouTube. They are delivering live streams of RPI home games just like the one you just listened to, and you can check them out by searching RPI TV on YouTube. So for Perry Lascaris, my name is Tom Reel. Final score from Houston Fieldhouse is Maine 3 and RPI 2. You've been listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 9.5 FM, WRPI Troy.